Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I believe we're live. Apologies, running a few minutes late today. And I'm realizing that for some reason the font on this post shows up black. I do not know why that is. Anyway, a lot to talk about. It's November 14th, 2018, the day leaving 47 days left in the year. Whole lot of 47 in the news, as you might expect. But before we get to today's news, I want to get to a story that I meant to cover yesterday. Big update in Brexit. Reporting from the BBC yesterday, all you need to know about the UK leaving the EU. Want to go back and look at the date of the Brexit vote and why they waited until this date, November 13th, 2018, to make this historic announcement. Just like the Brexit vote, June 23rd, 2016, had everything to do with Theresa May. So did this announcement on November 13th. Might recall, if you saw my work on Brexit at the time, it had a lot to do with David Cameron. We'll also revisit that piece. I actually got to talk about Brexit to a lot of people from the UK. Anytime I got somebody in my car from the UK, when I was driving for Uber and Lyft earlier this year, if the opportunity presented itself, I brought up Brexit, and a lot of them found it very interesting. And it's a nice thing about Seattle, international city. A lot of people coming and going there because of all the tech jobs. Anyhow, Theresa May just turned 62 years old. Big number there with the Masons and the Queen. Now, if you've ever seen my work on the Queen, you know it's been all about 62, her entire history as Queen. So anyway, Theresa May just turned 62 this year. The Brexit news came on her 6th week and 2nd day of her age, and I do not know why this font is black. It's the only post it did this on. But anyway, the date of this news was a date with 62 numerology. 62. And, you know, when you think of the UK, you got to think of Queen Elizabeth. The royal family does everything by the numbers. The word Queen has the gematria of 62. The word Mason, 62. The royal family is a Masonic family. No way is this large gap from the vote in June 23rd, 2016 to this announcement more than 2 years later any accident. All proof of the numerical ritual that goes on in this world. And with regards to Brexit, the name of the vote for the UK to leave the European Union, just notice the overlap in our base ciphers with Brexit and Masonry. And don't forget that the UK is the home of modern Freemasonry. Since June 24th, 1717. That Brexit vote was the day before the anniversary, June 23rd. Anyhow, Brexit, Masonry overlap in 3 of the 4 ciphers. And we've been talking about Brexit in 39 since the day it happened. If you've missed my older work on Brexit, go back through my blog. There was just so much 39 in that event. And one of the most obvious was the name May. May 39. And the thing was, when we originally decoded Brexit, we didn't even know reverse gematria. So we didn't even realize Brexit summed to 39, but we just saw all of the ritual having to do with 39 in that event at the time. Now we learn reverse gematria, you know, sometime after, and we realize that even Brexit itself is 39. No wonder. Theresa May, her surname has the gematria of 39 and 42 when you flip the alphabetic order around. The date of this announcement, November 13th, 18, also a date with 42 numerology. Consider November 13th was the day leaving 48 days left in the year. Freemason 42 as well as 48. Again, in Hebrew, the word Freemason also sums to 48. Now, notice November 13th is the 317th day of the year. That's the 66th prime number. And Brexit is to leave the European Union, which has gematria of 66. So how fitting that this announcement comes on that date. And with regards to June 23rd, 2016, the date of the original vote, that was a date with numerology of 65. United Kingdom has that gematria of 65. The United Kingdom voting to leave the European Union. Remember how quick Brexit came up? It happened quick. People, it caught them off guard. A lot of commotion, worry, fear, chaos. And realize also at this same moment when Brexit's happening, it's making people question what's going to happen in the markets. And we're seeing all this turmoil in the markets. They're saying Wall Street having a bad week this week is in connection to what's going on with Brexit right now. So there's all this uncertainty in the world. You got the U.S. beefing with Saudi Arabia, major oil producer. You got the stock market going wild. You got Brexit. You got a trade war being stirred up between the United States and the Asian nations. All these different variables. And what they're doing right now is they're setting the dominoes so that they can tip them over and then they can, move forward with their agenda, the order out of chaos agenda. How many times in history have markets collapsed? People found themselves in a desperate situation. A war arises. The only way to make a means for yourself is to become part of the war movement. This has happened all over the world many times over. And no doubt it's going to happen again because the same people who are responsible for operating the world this way are in power. At the time of the first Brexit vote, it was 3 months and 9 days from Theresa May's upcoming birthday. At the time for another 3-9, and there were many more. There were many more. Notice that June 23rd, when they had the original vote, that was the 174th day of the year. We know that New World Order equals 174. A lot of rituals conducted around that number. Like, for example, earlier this year, George W. Bush, his wife died on April 17th, 17/4, the president who uttered the phrase New World Order more than any other. And then what happened 174 days after the death of his wife, Barbara? His granddaughter, also named Barbara Bush, got married 174 days later. Trying to think what the big financial agreement was that's been put on the back burner. It was a big story a few years ago. Can't even think of the name of it right now. But when all the nations of the world gathered to sign off on it, they met on the 174th meridian, not by accident. And that's another financial things in the works for, world economy that right now is just sitting somewhere on hiatus. Notice June 23rd was also the day leaving 191 days left in the year. That's the 43rd prime. This recent vote, or not recent vote, but recent news about Brexit, it came on Theresa May's 44th day of her age, or 6 weeks and 2 days into her age. You could also say it came 43 days after her birthday, if you don't count the full span. Masonic 43, big number with the gang. And I was just going back and looking at my my old Brexit work, and something I had forgotten about was David Cameron. When he resigned, when he stepped down after Brexit, he'd been in his position for 322 weeks and 1 day, which was interesting. He was replaced by Theresa May. And the thing about Theresa May is, from when she had first taken her political office before she climbed the ladder, let's see, where do I got it at here? From the prior office she held, Home Secretary, to when she became Prime Minister, was 322 weeks on the nose. 322. And coming back to this 43 point, again, 43 and 322 have a relationship. It's through Yale, Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, the Masonic order that has world influence. Remember, November 18th upcoming is the 322nd day of the year, leaving 43 days remaining. We're keeping our eyes on that date. Not too far from it. But don't forget, Yale equals 43. Skull and Bones identifies by 322. Yale's at New Haven CT, New Haven, Connecticut, also having that gematria 43. It's a Masonic organization. So very interesting how the 322s line up with David Cameron and Theresa May replacing him. Obviously not a coincidence. And as far as I'm aware, neither of them went to Yale. They did go to, prestigious schools, but not Yale. And sometimes I wonder, we only know so much here. We're the people in the dark working with what information we can get our hands on. Are there other powerful secret societies at these other prestigious schools that also identify by the number 322? We know about it with Yale Skull and Bones, but it's very possible that other secret societies are identifying by the same number. And we're only, let on to know so much. And just as a reminder, where does 322 come from? Abrahamic religions in gematria sums to 322. That's Judaism, Christianity, Islam. And ancient mystery religions in that same cipher is 322. And what are the ancient mystery religions? They involve things such as Hermeticism, Kundalini, alchemy, Kabbalah. Kabbalah, where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from. So, and again, the knowledge of the ancient mystery religions is encoded in the Bible, which is what the Abrahamic religions are. So 322, it's more than just skull and bones. And I just wonder, is it skull and bones influence this ritual going on in Brexit with 322, or is it just that this number, it belongs to more secret societies than we know, just to emphasize the point? So, little Brexit update there. I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it. Today, November 14th, one of the top stories, this was the top headline when I woke up this morning. Former Navy captain pleads guilty to ghostwriting Fat Leonard emails. So I say, okay, Fat Leonard, where are they going with this one? This news comes today, the day leaving 47 days left in the year. We know who likes that number. The Masonic logo with the compass set at 47 degrees. Look at the gematria of Fat Leonard, 9642, just like Freemason 9642. In our reverse alphabetic order, Fat Leonard and Freemason are reshuffling a similar numbers. Can't help but notice the New World Order thing. This was an international scheme thieving money through the U.S. military, which is paid for by we, the taxpayers. I had to look up who Fat Leonard actually is. Look at his name, Leonard Glenn Francis. And what do you know? 322. Funny how often that number pops up when you know the code. Leonard Glenn Francis with the regular alphabetic order also sums to 191, the 43rd prime. And what do we know about 43 and 322? This news comes today, a date with 43 numerology. Again, it's why when you learn this code, you see how repetitive the patterns are. The man accused of ghostwriting the letters his name is Jeff Breslau. Jeff Breslau. And look at the gematria, his name, 42, just like Fat Leonard, just like Freemason, on the day leaving 47 days left in the year. And again, I'm sure there's a whole lot more to that story, but to me, it's like, you go that far, you've already seen enough. Just, okay, same old gang up to their same old tricks. These people got the world under their thumb. They make everything seem like it's some isolated incident, some just small conspiracy, one corrupt official in the Navy, a small group of corrupt officials. That's not the truth of it. This is a network, thieving from us every day, lying to us every day, manipulating the truth every day. Today, published in a scientific journal, frozen super Earth discovered 6 light years away. Think anyone can prove otherwise? It's the beauty of space, right? Who could ever prove otherwise? So anyway, Again, today, the day leaving 47 days left in the year. Big space news. Just a reminder, news has that gematria 47. We know who controls the world of space research. It's Freemasonry. The gang that likes the 47 degrees. With regards to this thing being a frozen super Earth, the word Earth has the gematria of 25. Today's November 14th, 11 plus 14, 25. They said it's 6 light years away. 6 has that gematria 25. 6 also has the gematria 52, as does Earth. Should make that point. So here's the artist depiction. Weird and wonderful planets beyond our solar system. The image shows an artist's impression of the surface of Barnard's star B, a cold super Earth discovered orbiting Barnard's star 6 light years away. So this was published today. This is today's new big scientific breakthrough. You notice how these stories just they come and they go and you don't hear about them again? Another planet believed to be like Earth. Another planet believed to be like Earth. In this case, they say it's frozen. But here's what started to jump out to me right away. Barnard's star, which this is planet supposedly orbiting. This is Barnard's star is supposed to be the closest star that's like our sun to us. Today's date has the 63 numerology to go with Barnard's star. Don't forget Freemasonics also 63. But just Barnard alone has the gematria 58 like star. And Barnard's, the plural, has the gematria 58, also like stars in the plural. Remember, Gregorian's 58, Zodiac's 58, calendar's 58. Special number there. Solar cycle 58. In the base ciphers, Barnard's is also 77, also like stars. So, it's not hard to see where they got this name from. It's just like the gematria of star. And don't forget that secret society also has the gematria of 77 and 58 in light of Freemasonry being in control of the space program. Things that most people aren't aware of. And most people, even when they become aware of it, they just shrug their shoulders and say, well, so what? Well, so what? Doesn't it concern you that a secret society has so much influence in the world? I mean, what's the big secret? Why are they keeping secrets? Being a little bit facetious with that question. If you've read my book, the final part, the outro, is about why they keep the secrets. At least supposedly how it all began with Father CR. But anyway, Barnard's also in the base ciphers, 139 like Freemasonry. A little too perfect, huh? And don't forget science is 58. I know today the word discovered is 58, in light of that being, what's in the title. They discovered this new frozen Earth. Some things could be coincidental, but the whole Barnard's and star thing certainly isn't. So again, NASA established in 58. Also made me think about how NASA was established July 29th, 7 plus 29, 36. Today's date, November 14th, 2018. Date with a life lesson number of 36. 666 is the 36th triangular number. NASA's full name, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, 666. Again, they kept the astronaut in space for 666 days. Barnard's star is part of the constellation Ophiuchus. Couldn't help but notice the gematria 42 for that constellation, like outer space, like Freemason, like how the capital G in the Freemason logo symbolizes 42, the word math 42, the G around the instruments of mathematics set at 47 degrees, and this big discovery coming on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year. At least the publishing of the discovery. So, another story that emerged yesterday. I ignored this story yesterday. I don't know why I did. I just thought, I guess it's because I'm just so, almost every day I'm talking about Donald Trump. But the story broke yesterday. It's carried into today. Supposedly the first lady has a beef with another woman in the administration, and I heard on the television it started with an airplane flight. I guess Melania wanted the woman to give up her seat on an airplane or something of the sort, and the woman didn't want to give up her seat, and it's snowballed into a greater feud. Obviously, some more contrived drama. This news broke again yesterday, November 13th, 18, a date with 42 numerology. First Lady has that gematria 42 when you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. When you use just the alphabetic order, ladies 42, like female, like the B word. So what a day to hear about the First Lady and her feud with another. The woman she's going against, Mira Ricardel, couldn't help but know she was 58 years old at the time, just like how Donald Trump's the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. Big number in the ritual. Big number always. From her birthday to this news story was 131 days, which is the 32nd prime, America 32, 7/4/1776, date with 32 numerology. Notice that was also 4 months and 8 days. This news broke on the day leaving 48 days left in the year. Donald Trump equals 48. Notice also the 18 weeks and 5 days, like 185. Donald John Trump with the alphabetic order, 185. And if you counted the full span of days, it would be 132. Like how United States of America is 132, like how there's 132 rooms in the White House. So obviously, another ritual, another example of news by the numbers. Couldn't help but notice the woman's full name has the gematria of 119 in our most pure cipher, the all-seeing eye number, also the number corresponding with Donald in Jewish gematria, who was announced as the 45th president-elect on 11/9, after talking to the digital sheep 11/9 about being born for the job years earlier. Somehow you've never seen that Serta commercial before. You got to check it out. Today, November 14th, 18, another top story, Whitaker appointment constitutional, DOJ says. We just talked about how Jeff Sessions resigned/fired or was fired 47 days before his birthday. Jeff Sessions equals 47, so does Trump. It's the big number in DC. Now the man replacing him, it looks like perhaps he's going to be there to stay. And when does this news come? On the day leaving 47 days left in the year, where everything in DC is 47, as we well know. We cover it again and again. So what a day for this announcement following the Jeff Sessions end. And the other piece here is from his birthday, Matthew Whitaker, who's 49 years old, like the gematria of Washington. From his birthday to today is 16 days later, and it's the DOJ who said it's constitutional, DOJ 16. So how perfect again. More evidence that Washington, D.C. is nothing but well-scripted theater, well-planned, a land of king and queens, born and bred for the job. Another story we're not going to get to today, but it's front and center in the media, is how a lot of people are opposing Nancy Pelosi to be the head of the Democratic Party, the Speaker of the House. Remember, today leaves 47 days left in the year. Democrat 47, Republican 47, government 47, authority 47, yada, yada, yada. Earlier this year, on a date with 47 numerology, 47 days from Nancy Pelosi's birthday, she gave the longest speech in the history of the House. We covered that then. You can go back and look, verify 47 date numerology, 47 days from her birthday. Now on the day leaving 47 days left in the year, major opposition for her to become the Speaker of the House, when just days ago she guaranteed she would become the Speaker. So we'll see what happens. Also today, November 14th, the day leaving 47 days left in the year, we get an update in the helicopter tragedy. The owner of Leicester City Premier League team, they're saying that what happened is there was a problem with the tail rotor. This is today's news, November 14th, 2018, the day leaving 47 days left in the year. What do you think tail rotor equals? Of course, 47. And I realize I have the black font thing going here too. What is going on? I've never seen this before. Weird. But, we covered how this story was major news by the numbers, how it was synced up with the death of the Premier League owner who died in a helicopter crash 22 years earlier in the same month, October, like how there's 22 men on the football field. If you missed my work on this man's death, it was all synced up. Oh, glad I'm saying this out loud. His death was all synced up with the Thailand cave story of the team trapped in the cave who got rescued during the time of the World Cup. Remember, that whole story was synced up with France, who won the World Cup, who once controlled that territory. And France equals 47, and that story of the cave had everything to do with 47. We showed how that story was synced up with this man's death, who's from Thailand. And now, on the 47th day of the year, it's blamed on this. And don't forget, it was March 22nd, 2017, another 3/22 date, another event synced up with Theresa May, where you had that big red helicopter on the lawn in front of Parliament the day of that terror attack. You remember? And they had that big red helicopter with the Freemason compass on it. And it said Freemasons of London. Hold on. I just got to go back and I gotta look up the let me see. I got to look up this story. Sometimes I have to talk out loud to think about things. So this story began June 23rd, 18, right? The cave rescue story, getting trapped in the cave. That was a date with 47 numerology. The name of the cave, Tom Luong, 47. Tom Luong Cave, 47. Our two reduction-based ciphers, alphabetic order, reverse alphabetic order. And then just using the regular alphabetic order, France is 47. France used to control this territory. We talked about how the whole story was synced up with the rigged World Cup. Ended with that score of 4-2 like Freemason. So, no surprise here in light of how these stories are interconnected that we get this update in his death. So, just real quick to be thorough, we're not in a hurry here. Let me again show people the very clear connection. Wrote a few things about this, so I got to find the right post. No, I don't think this is the right one. That is definitely not the right one. There it is. You see how in the most pure cipher, this man who died, his name sums to 109? That's the 29th prime number, and this same cipher, football equals 29. From the date of the cave rescue to the date he died in the helicopter crash, and again, the story was set in Thailand. He's from Thailand. It was 109 days later. You see that? Going perfectly with his name. Again, this is why gematria is the essential language to understand. It just shows you how much evil is carried out in this world, by a code, an undeniable code that is so repetitive. It's why, we're on episode 5. I'm sure if you watch all 5 episodes, I'm talking about the same numbers in almost every single episode. We also talked about how this man who died here from Thailand was born in 57. And how the last time an owner crashed in England in a helicopter, it was on a date with 57 numerology. Helicopter, England, Leicester, the way they spell it, 57. So, again, that's why I got that merchandise. What is 47? People got to learn about it. Unfortunately, a story like this, most people would never catch the 47. They wouldn't realize that today leaves 47 days left in the year. They wouldn't go back and think to connect it to the Thai cave. But oftentimes that number is just front and center, staring you in the face. And if you start to realize it, then maybe you're paying a little bit more attention on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year. So, to go back in history, November 14th, 1970, the worst tragedy in the history of American sports occurred. The Marshall football team crashed on this day in history. I've talked about this before, but I thought we'd talk about it again. They were on Southern Airways Flight 932. If you put that number up against a mirror, it becomes 239. And the name of Marshall is the Thundering Herd. Marshall Thundering Herd 239. How interesting, they were on Flight 932. They were flying back to Huntington, where Marshall is. Remember, Huntington equals 47. They died on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year, close to where they were supposed to land. They call this the worst sports tragedy in American history. It's interesting how sports tragedy and Huntington, WV for West Virginia have this overlap, including a 187, the homicide code. They departed from Kinston, North Carolina, which has the gematria of 97, like plane crash. And what else is interesting is November 14th, 11 plus 14 is 25. In gematria, in our base ciphers, when you flip the alphabetic order around, death is 97 and 25. Remember, 97 is the 25th prime number. You'll recall the 97th NFL season. That was the year they moved the touchback to 25 yards. The Super Bowl was played on 2/5. The Falcons, equaling 25, were defeated after Brady's 25-point comeback. And we said it was going to be all about Brady and 25 before the game was even played. Can you know this code? You can get ahead of a lot of things in this world, including rigged sports. Also, just while we're on the subject, in case you missed my work earlier this year, there was the death of Reggie Oliver, who played for Marshall. Very numerological death. He died at 66. His name, Reggie Oliver, equals 66. Remember, that's the 11th triangular number, like how football's 11 on 11. Master number, 22 men on the field, master builder number. Marshall's in West Virginia, 66. He was one of Marshall's true legends. Legends equals 66. If you drop the S, legend is minus 19. S is the 19th letter. 66 minus 19 is what? 47. And again, located in Huntington. The team crashed on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year. The date of this man's death was August 14th, 2018, a date with a life lesson number of 33. Legends 33. When you write out 33 back to 66. You can go back and see my longer video on this, but just a quick recap. Thundering Herd, good name for a football team. Thundering Herd equals 83, like football, like murder. The 223 is also interesting. A lot of numbers are interesting in that name. I mean, there's a lot of Masonic numbers up there. Before his death, he'd given a speech earlier this year on April 28th. That's the 118th day of the year. Gave a speech for Marshall, the 118th day. We know death's 118. Huntington, West Virginia is also 118. Again, this is the school with the most tragic death in sports history. And you start to see why. They got the numbers. They got the numbers of Masonry. They got the numbers of death. Masonry is a death cult. That's why when you earn your 3 honorary degrees, one of the tests you have to pass is, knowledge about death. I encourage people out there to go out and get the form to join Freemasonry and look at what's on that form. You pretty much have to sign your life away. If you die in their lodge, they're not responsible. Part of the agreement you have to make. And again, I've theorized that a lot of these people who die suspiciously are killed inside these Masonic lodges. Then no one's liable. They're killed in a secret place, killed in a secret society where everyone's off the hook. From the day of that speech to the day of his death, it was 108 days. Remember, that has a lot to do with geometry. Notice the 3 months and 17 days. That's a lot like 317, the 66th prime. You know, these people are killing by a mathematical code. He also died on the day, leaving 139 days left in the year. This man, Freemasonry. So, anyway, I got a longer video. I think I point out a few other things, but figure that's good to bring up today in light of it being the anniversary of the plane crash, which was 48 years ago today. Want to send a thank you to the person who tipped me off to this story. Newsweek covered this yesterday. Would have never caught this story if it wasn't the person who notified me, so thank you very much. This person did the research pretty much for me too. I just copied what information they gave me. So the story is that there's this bridge that's been built in Russia, and you're only allowed to cross it by vehicle. You're not allowed to walk across it because the walkway is too narrow, but some people wanted to cross it who apparently don't have a vehicle, so they built a cardboard bus. And like Fred Flintstone, you know, skedaddled across the bridge. And what's interesting is this bridge is known as the Golden Bridge, kind of reminiscent of the Golden Gate, right? And we're looking out for the Golden Gate Bridge on August 11th, 2019. Again, Golden Gate equals 45 in our two base ciphers, our two reduction base ciphers. The San Francisco mayor is going to turn 45 years old on August 11th, 2019. She's also the 45th mayor, turning 45 years old that day. That movie, Pacific Rim, San Francisco's attacked on the day, August 11th. Well, look at this bridge known as the Golden Bridge. This bridge, construction ended on this bridge August 11th. Isn't that strange? August 11th, construction ended. 7 years to the day of the day we're looking at. So I just thought, wow, I mean, either we have stumbled across the greatest coincidence in the history of coincidences, or something is definitely up with August 11, 2019. And ever since I made that prediction, just more and more things have compiled to add more reason to be suspicious of the date. Again, the reason we're looking at the Golden Gate Bridge on August 11, 2019 has a lot more to do with the fact of that date, August 11, 2019, is Tisha B'Av, to remember the destruction of the two temples. And the Jewish prophecy is that the Jewish Messiah, who will rule over the world, will arrive through the Golden Gate at the time of the third temple coming into being. Tisha B'Av's to remember the destruction of the two temples, connected to the prophecy of the third temple. Here's the other thing that's creepy about this. From the date of this news story, November 13th, 2018, to August 11th, 2019 is 271 days. That's the 58th prime number. And remember, third temple equals 58. Herod's temple equals 58. Solomon's temple equals 58. Freemasonry equals 58. Secret Society 58. Jerusalem 58. Rosicrucian 58. And what else is it about August 11th? It's exactly 58 days after Trump's birthday, who visited the site of where they planned to build the third temple on Jerusalem Day on May 22nd, 2017, which was exactly 811 days before August 11th. 811, like 811. And 811 is the 141st prime number in San Francisco, California, equals 141. So I know I just threw a lot at you there, but again, 58 is a big number on that date. 8/11/2019 is also a date with 58 numerology, 8 plus 11 plus 20 plus 19, 58. By the way, this bridge that we're talking about made this story. Its nickname is the Golden Horn Bridge, and I couldn't help but notice that Golden Horn is also 58. I mean, why would Newsweek report this? Why is this so important? It's kind of funny, but a national news story out of all the things to cover in the world. I mean, Newsweek still hasn't done a piece on gematria. Newsweek hasn't done a piece on, some guy living in his mother's basement, as my critics say. Calling sports games news stories before they happen. I think the world would like to know more about this code and all that it reveals, more so than some people making a cardboard bus to cross a bridge. The other thing about Newsweek equals 33 in our most base cipher, and they were established in 33, like the same year that construction on the Golden Gate Bridge began. So Newsweek's also known for predictive programming in their propaganda. I forgot to mention that cardboard bus also equals 45, like Golden Gate. And the name of this bridge also has gematria of 48. Zola toi most, like how this was the day leaving 48 days left in the year. Come back and look at Newsweek real quick. So how bizarre, right? I mean, am I the only one who thinks that's bizarre? In a moment, I'll take your calls. Maybe somebody's got something they want to add in on that, but let me finish here. November 14th, today, also in the news, Parkland shooter Nicholas Cruz attacks jail guard. Vague story, no description of how he attacked him or what he did, just that he attacked. And of course, what's this news media do? It immediately just reminds you of the Parkland shooting. It reminds you of all the shootings. That's what it does. It's going on in Broward County, which is also already front and center in the news. I laughed at Wikipedia. Wikipedia is just always changing the facts. It's why Wikipedia is not a reliable news source. But now, according to Wikipedia, notice this is Pacific Standard Time. Their new time for this, the attack, is 3:18 Eastern Time, which is not true. The day of the shooting, this is not what time it was reported at. But it is interesting that they're changing it to 3:18 Eastern Time Wiki, because this update in the story comes November 14th, which is the 318th day of the year. And again, there's a TV show out there you might want to check out. I believe you can watch it on Netflix. At least you used to be able to. It was canceled after one season, but it's actually a cool show to check out if you're into this research. It was called Touch. And if you've never seen that show, it begins with the Kabbalah red thread. And what the whole premise of the show is about how numbers connect all things in the world. All things in the world are connected by numbers. And the first episode is about the number 318. And remember, 318 is this biblical number connected to Christ from the Bible. It's all in the book. But what 318 is in mathematics is the inverse of the equation for pi. If you divide 22 by 7, you get the approximation of pi. If you divide 7 by 22, you get 0.318. So it's also a number related to circles. It's a number related to geometry. And this school shooting where this happened, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, she lived to be 108 years old. The school's named after the woman from Minneapolis, Minnesota, who lived to be 108. Remember, it came right after the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. The Stoneman Douglas High School has the exact same Eagle mascot as the Philadelphia Eagles. You'll remember the story of Carly Novell, the red-haired girl who told the story of her grandfather hiding in the closet in one of the first mass shootings in U.S. history in Philadelphia. She went on the news and told that story right after the shooting. And then the Philadelphia Flyers, they have a player that used to go to the high school, if I remember correctly, and he invited the hockey team, Stoneman Douglas, that won their division championship to a Flyers game down in the area. Then we had Anthony Rizzo of the Chicago Cubs, Chicago, home of the Valentine's Day Massacre. This shooting was on Valentine's Day. Keep in mind that Valentine's Day is the 45th day of the year. Geometry is also 45. This update today comes on a date with a life lesson number of 36. But anyway, the point is, not an accident that this update in the story is coming today, because it's all geometry. And again, gematria means geometry in language. Wikipedia, if I was on the East Coast, it would show this as 318, which they've recently done. It didn't used to say this, but I have a feeling they did this just to coordinate with today's news, because this is how Wikipedia rolls. But the point is, this is all numerical ritual, as always, as it's been from day one. And the other thing I couldn't help but notice is from the day of the shooting, which was on the 14th, to today, November 14th, is 39 weeks on the nose. What's 39 make you think of? The number of books in the Old Testament? Parkland, Florida, a community that's over 80% Jewish. Notice also the 9 months. Remember, 45 is the ninth triangular number. The shooter's name is Nicholas. Nicholas, the way he spells it, has the gematria of 108 and 45. So here's Nicholas. He just turned 20 years old. From his birthday to today is 51 days, what we call the mass shooting number that shows itself again and again in these stories in the news, these terrible shootings. Conspiracy 51, Emma Gonzalez, probably the most well-known face, speaking out after the shooting. She just had her 19th birthday. Emma Gonzalez just turned 19 3 days ago. And then, my favorite person in the whole world, David Hogg, the guy who said he's going to outlive the entire truth community. If you guys have not seen that Vice documentary where he stars in it, attacking people like myself, you gotta hear what he has to say. I mean, this guy's got something coming for him, that's for sure. But from his birthday to today is 216 days. The product is 6 times 6 times 6. Today, again, has the life lesson number 36666, the 36th triangular number. Notice he's 18 years old. The product is 6 plus 6 plus 6. And don't forget his birthday is supposedly the 102nd day of the year, like how Valentine equals 102. Valentine's Day shooting. His father, the former FBI agent. Then, of course, this whole update coming on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year. Trademark of the game. So, and then the one picture of this girl, this story that just makes no sense. I mean, 13-year-old murders her parents, escapes into oblivion, massive manhunt, can't find her anywhere. We'll see where this story eventually ends. But I was curious to see if we'd ever hear the story again. They brought out a new Amber Alert national story, and this one hadn't been talked about for a while. But today it's back in the headlines. Without a trace, the headline 187, and remember 187. That number represents Fraternal Order of Police in gematria. It's also the homicide code. She killed her parents. Today has the numerology of 43, Masonic 43, killing 43, policeman 43. Today's also the day leaving 47 days left in the year. And again, just look at how the name Jamie Kloss lines up with fraternal. A little too perfect, huh? No doubt this story is complete fiction, just more stuff to plant seeds of negativity and fear in people's minds. So, if you missed my prior work on Jamie Kloss, check it out. She's got those JC13 initials. She's 13 years old. Amber Alert. Amber's got the gematria 41, the 13th prime. JC 10 plus 3, 13. So what else was in there? Oh yeah, we got another dead elderly NFL player. Less than a month ago, or I guess it was a little more than a month ago, we saw the death of the first black man drafted in the NFL. Apparently, this was the third black man drafted in the NFL, Wally Triplett. The article chose to show a picture of him in 53, and we know why. Vesica Piscis, the shape of the football, equals 53. Here we are in the year of Super Bowl 53. 53-man roster, 53-yard wide field. They emphasize how he was drafted in 49. Remember, draft equals 49. NFL 49. He was 92 years old, the reflection of 29. Football 29. He, notice in the picture up here, they also show him wearing number 24. That was for the Chicago Cardinals, who are now the Arizona Cardinals, who are in their 99th season, like the NFL's 99th season. Um, 24, of course, is the reflection of 42. And I couldn't help but notice that from his birthday, he's born on the 108th day of the year, to his death, November 8th, was 204 days. Lose the zero. What digit you got there? 2 and 4. Died November 8th, 11/8, like 118. Death, 118. The same day the deadly fires began in California. And in light of him being drafted by Detroit, the day he died was a date with 37 numerology. Detroit, 37. His birthday being April 18th, that's the 108th day of the year. Remember, the first black man who was drafted in the NFL, he just died on October 8th, 10-8. Again, they sow 108 game balls for every Super Bowl. Geometry, doing things by the numbers, rigging games, murdering people. This news about his death came on the day, leaving 83 days left in the year. So go back and watch my video from this day, because there were actually 3 football-related deaths in the news on this day. Him, the owner of the Chargers, and the high school football player. I think they came up with his cause of death for that day, which didn't make any sense. And just going back to this article, they show this guy in a jersey number 20 and 79. Death is 20. Murder is also 79. It's the 22nd prime, 22 men on the football field. And here's a story I don't even need to cover, but this was TMZ's top story when I checked out their website this morning. I just want to see what TMZ had going on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year. Looks like some propaganda to, scare people away from getting medical procedures in other countries such as Mexico. Anyone who's scared to get a procedure done in another country, you better take a look at your own medical industry here in the United States. It couldn't be any worse. It's way overpriced. Most doctors don't have any answers to any questions. And more often than not, if you get help from the doctor, you're going to come out worse than you went in. My dad just recently, he had a collapse, had a heart problem there. And they gave him all sorts of shots. They did some big injection in his neck, and he had this horrible pain in his neck for several weeks after. And not only that, but he lost his hearing in his left ear. So my dad is now deaf in his left ear. And the doctors say, well, that's just a coincidence. That's what they tell him. They say, oh, the hearing loss in the left ear is a coincidence. It's not from any procedures we did. I mean, BS. It's obviously from what they did. Probably pinched a nerve or hit something wrong when they were injecting whatever they did into his neck. But, U.S. just has a horrible medical system. It's way overpriced. Most doctors aren't very good at what they do. They're poorly educated. They know nothing about nutrition. Most of them are just educated to prescribe drugs. We got some, advanced surgeons and whatnot, but so do other parts of the world. And if you follow news media, you'll see stories like this often, like, oh, this person went to this country and this horrible thing happened to them. Imagine if they reported all the horrible things that happen to people in the U.S. within our own medical system. But anyway, this woman with the LA initials was supposedly getting plastic surgery. And what's LA and plastic surgery make you think of? Los Angeles, the plastic surgery capital of the world. So anyway, the whole story comes from a Jewish lawyer, right? And what's his name? Friedman, Gematria 47 on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year. Name also has Gematria 43 on a date with 43 numerology. His name's Larry. 74 like Jewish, like Masonic, like Gematria, like English. So anyway, it's just crap news no matter where you look. Always by the code. So those were the things I wanted to present today. And, there's always more if you want to take it further. We can wrap it up here. We can take some phone calls if anybody has anything they want to phone in about. Again, the number is 509. It's the area code 509-731-0567. And let me make my way out to the chat, see if anybody wants to call. All right. It looks like we got people here. I got to call Crystal today. Crystal, we got to talk about our big plan. I've been busy all morning. I'm looking forward to our phone call. Sorry if you were waiting on it already. Jeremy's got something to share, but he can't call. Well, do you want to link it? Can you link it to me and I'll share it? Oh, Crystal's having a rough day. Crystal, you know what? You get some rest. I'll call you when you're feeling better. We don't have to rush this project today. It's more important that you get the rest. I appreciate that you're here, even though you're not feeling well. I'm sorry, Crystal. 'Tis the season. All right, I'm looking for your link, Jeremy, so I know what to share. It is TFR tonight. Yeah. Truth Frequency Radio every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. That's a great point there, Jeremy, about how he was the third man and his name's triplet, like triple, like three. Sometimes I miss the low hanging fruit. Good work. I put out a sports decode this morning for basketball. So, we have the schedule for football. We do Thursday night football Thursday morning. We do Friday night decodes Friday night. We have a big long day of NFL decodes Saturday, and then sometimes I'll put out some bonus content. But yeah, we do a lot of work on a pretty consistent basis here with the sports. Jeremy says there was a fight between Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. Durant's from Washington D.C., Green's from Michigan. Interesting. Like how Tom Brady went to Michigan. All right, Jeremy says he has a decode of the Villanova versus Michigan game, a rematch of the NCAA championship. Recall the tournament was coded to the Parkland shooting, and he was in the news today. See if you can add anything. All right, let me go to Fields of White. So Villanova leads the series 3-1. The series could become 1-4 on the 14th, huh? This is a good point right here. All right, I'm going to link this in the description. Jeremy's got a lot of good information here, as always. Let me link that down in the chat. So I see Jacon's got something for us. Oh, okay. That was the article we talked about, I see. When I think of 251, I just think of it being the 200 or the 54th prime. Also, with regards to Catholicism, September 8th is the 251st day of the year, and that's the day they celebrate the birth of the Virgin Mary. September 8th, which makes sense because the Gospel's 89 chapters. September 8th can be written 8-9. Could I focus the feed? Well, I don't know if there's anything more I can do from my end. Screen is not focused for you either, huh? I see it now. I'm sorry for the delay in response. I'm just seeing it. Is it here? Just a test. Here, let me find something better than that. Is this clear? I'll give you a minute to see if this is clear. Maybe it was just because I was looking at the chat that it got blurry. But there, I don't know what else I could do on my end. It shows that the internet connection's strong. Let me come back and check and see if that was clear for you, or if we're having a problem there. Uncle Sam 47, nice one, Ben. Huh. John Doe's got some 54s. That's nice. The organic side. All right, I'll check that out. Let me copy that link. I will check it out. So, Mary, are you seeing the people who are saying that you need to go to your settings at the bottom of the screen and choose a higher visual quality? Some people said it sometimes it'll accidentally go down to 480, and if it's at 480, it's definitely going to look blurry. So, I guess whoop, that didn't work. Try to make this bigger here. I think that's as big as I can make it without it zooming out to some other screen. So, Mary, hopefully you can find that setting, and it should be right here. See right here? Mine's at 720p. That's what mine's set at. So if you go to that wheel down in the right corner of the screen, and then come up here to quality, well, it looks like mine only goes up to 720p. Or I guess that is HD. Okay. I guess that is HD. So I guess that's as good as it gets. I gotta say, this channel does not exist. Huh. Ben's got an article. So in the Torah it is written, "It shall be jubilee unto you, and you shall return every man to his possession, and you shall return every man to his family." In the Torah, the word for teshuva, return, is missing the letter vav. Ordinarily, it would be spelled. I can't read Hebrew. The Zohar tells us that the Torah writes teshuva without the letter vav to hint at the year when the Jewish people returned to our land from the long and bitter exile. The gematria of teshuva is 708. Therefore, the missing vav in the word, as written in the Torah, which equals the number 6, was a prophecy that the Jews would be allowed to return to Israel minus 6 million of our people. You shall return minus 6 million. While the combined numerical value of the word teshuva equals 708 indicates the year of our return. When we write the year, we ignore the millennia. In 1948, on the secular calendar, we witnessed the miracle of the return of the Jewish people to Israel, which occurred in the year 5708 of the Hebrew calendar, the year predicted by the incomplete word teshuva as written in the Torah. We did return less, the missing 6, that is the 6 million of our people who perished in the Holocaust. Yet the fulfillment of the prophecy of our return is precisely the year predicted, as implied by the gematria of the word teshuva. It gives us hope that the words of the prophets, the final redemption, will come true as well. It is because of this prophecy that we have always anticipated that 6 million of our people would perish prior to our being allowed to return to Israel as can be seen in the numerous references to 6 million Jews made by many of our rabbis and scholars who saw the Shoah coming decades before the prophecy of our return to Israel was fulfilled, as far back as 1900. Rabbi Stephen S. Wise, who was the major leadership figure of the American Jewish Congress during its formative period, spoke of the 6 million living, bleeding, suffering arguments in the favor of Zionism. When he addressed his audience and came to hear him speak, as reported in the New York Times on June 11th, 1900. I'm going to link this article down below again just to make sure everyone's got this. This is very good. Great find there, Ben. Great work, Ben. Ben's one of our young, brilliant minds. Just graduated from high school and college now. Thanks for making the time, Ben. I know how it is as a college student. Busy. Let me see if Mary was able to fix her problem. Mary, it's possible that if it's blurry today, your internet connection's running slower. So sometimes when I'm watching people's live streams, if my connection's not solid, it comes through a little grainy. It could be that if the setting's not fixing it. Christopher John Jerkness, huh? Yerkness. Got to look that guy up. Let's see if we can find his channel on the same subject. So he's got books, this man. See if we can find his YouTube channel. This looks like it could be it. No, it's 2015. Maybe this isn't his actual channel. No, this is somebody sharing his work. Let's see. This looks like it could be the video right here. So that's the way to do it. Search his name and then go to the filter and then do the upload date. And there it is right there. All right, you guys. Well, we're over the hour mark. I got to set up for the gematria debate. And by set up, I mean I need to eat some food. I haven't eaten anything yet today. So gonna go have a little snack, and then I'll be back on the YouTube to see if we have any challengers. Before I go, though, I'll just, in case there's anybody who wanted to call in and say something today, I'll give it one more minute. 509-731-0567 if you want to call in. I don't think food sounds good to Crystal today. She's not feeling well. She must have lost the appetite. But she's still right on the spot with the phone number. Thanks, Crystal. Means a lot you being here, not feeling well. Let me know when you feel better, and we'll talk about the website thing. Hopefully Mary was able to figure out the blurry problem. Harriet Olson. Okay, there's one to look into. Little House on the Prairie. Okay. Just yesterday. I'll take a peek at that. All right, you guys. It looks like we don't have any callers today. That's okay. We'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate all of you. Stay healthy, get that rest, eat those green vegetables. Till next time, truth seekers.